The purpose of Generation Atheist is to get people of the younger age, 20s and 30s, to get together and socialize. A lot of the atheist meetups, or the secular meetups, they meet around debates or they meet around something more formal. We wanted to have something a little bit less formal, something where people can just come in casually, have a drink, talk to people, and do movie nights and do some fun activities. No, it's really very informal. The goal is to just get together, have a good conversation with like-minded people. A lot of times in our life, we're either in a work environment or in a uh, maybe a school environment or family environment where you can't really just speak your mind. As atheists, we find that a lot of people just they feel threatened by us. So the purpose, I guess, really is to just get together with people who aren't going to necessarily badger you for being of a secular mind. So Generation Atheist was started because the parent company or the sponsoring company, Atheists United, had kind of an older crowd where the meetups were a little bit more formal, not really attracting a younger audience. So what they decided to do was try to mix things up a little bit. It started off as a Yahoo group, which then met every once in a while, and then moved over to meetup.com, which then helped it be more formal, get the meetings more formalized. So it started off as a branch of Atheists United as a way to get a younger group of atheists together and kind of drum up some interest in that generation. So at first, when Generation Atheist started, it was a very small group of people, just a core group of maybe 3 to 6 people that would come weekly, or actually rather monthly, to the meetings, and it slowly grew to one more person and one more person. And what you would find in the meetup was that you'd see somebody come in, but then they would disappear for a few months, and then they'd come back again. And after a while, you get this sort of rolling attendance of people who are core members, but some new ones that will come in and then disappear for a little bit, then come in again. After a while, that becomes 6 core members with 2 roving members, then 6 core members with a new person and a couple of roving members. And then the group suddenly starts to get a regular attendance of 12 to 24 people, and a larger core, of course. The core grows, but you keep getting these people that come in and out of the group. So don't get discouraged. It's not discouraging when you see somebody not come for a while. It's part of the general flow of a meetup. Not everybody's going to show up to every meeting, but you'll see that if you had a good meetup, they'll come back. They'll remember you several weeks or several months later during one of the other meetups. Some of the things that are important to mention on the whole meetup page are, what is the meetup about? You really want to capture the member immediately and just give them in a quick 1 or 2 sentence what you're going to be talking about, or what you're going to be getting when you come to this meetup. It's very important because I know when I browse meetups, I kind of just look at that description, and oftentimes what I see is just a long description that kind of rambles on. You want to go right to the point immediately. What is this meetup about? Then you want to get into, how often are you going to be meeting? When and where are these meetings going to take place? In Generation Atheist, what we do is we describe the meeting, we let people know that we have a general monthly meeting so that they know that it's consistent. It's important to stay consistent with these things. And then you can kind of go into maybe a mission statement or a little bit longer description. But in the beginning, the person just wants to get the gist of things. You don't want to give them a whole mission statement, or you don't want to give them a manifesto of what you're going to be doing. You just want to get them to hit that join button. It's so important. Hit that join button. Then you can start preaching once they're on your mailing list, once they come to your meetups. That's when you really get involved into the depths of your cause, if you really want to. What's very important when you set up an event is where you're going to hold the event. Sometimes it could be difficult to find a place, but what you need to look for, especially with a group like ours that's informal, is a place that allows people who aren't 21. We do it at a pub. That's important because we have some college kids. They're 18, but they want to be able to join. Some bars don't allow that. Another place is to make sure that it's quiet. You want to talk to people. You want to make sure that there's that the music in the background is low, that you can possibly even find a back room to do it in. Another thing is important is parking. What is parking like? Do people have to keep running out to the meters and feed the meters every hour, or is there a parking lot? Is there valet? What is that? And it's important to also say that when you're writing the description of the meetup. It's also important to let people know where you're going to be and how to find you. Are you going to be in a back room? You got to let the people know. Otherwise, they're kind of wandering around. And there have been times where I've been at another meetup where you're just not sure what's going on. A person's about to walk out the door. You got to catch them. You got to make sure that they know what's up. Leave your phone number, and make sure that they know how to find you during the meetup. With Generation Atheist, our agenda is very loose. We just want to get together and talk. There's certain meetups that we have that are more formal, but for the most part, it's come down, have a drink, grab some food. So it could get a little bit difficult to make sure everybody knows where people are and to keep the group together, and to make sure also that people are having a good time and aren't sometimes stuck in the corner not talking to anybody. So what I do is, of course, I make sure that people know where to find us. I make sure to be there a little bit earlier so that I can get any of the tables together. I also, when someone comes in, I greet them, make sure that they know what's going on, introduce them to any of the people around, have a seat, and then I keep my eye on them for a little bit so that I can make sure that they're integrated into the group pretty well, so that they're not just off in the corner. Because oftentimes people come to these meetups to meet people, but they're also very shy. So you kind of have to help them get out of their shell and make sure that they're, if they don't want to participate in a conversation, that they're at least involved in a conversation, that they are at least getting a back and forth, or are part of an interesting conversation. So I make sure that that happens. And then sometimes during the meetup, if we have a particularly large group, I tell everybody just get up. We're going to do a musical chair thing. This is going to be, I'm sure you're having a good time with the person you're talking to right now, but this is about meeting people. This is about getting in good conversations. So let's talk. You can have more conversations. And if you really enjoy talking to this person, grab that person's information. You could catch them later on Meetup. I mean, this is just, all here to have good discussions. So, and it even helps sometimes when you're in a bad conversation, because that could happen sometimes. There are just some uninteresting people, or just to you, that person is just not giving you a good conversation. So it sort of helps you get out of that corner. Thank you for saving me from that conversation. So just, get up, do musical chairs. Even if you have like 6 or 7 people, it's good. The person to your left, the person to your right, could just be talking to people on opposite sides of them, and you're just kind of staring back and forth, not involved in anything. That really helps liven things up also. Meeting a new person, you got that, hey, how do you do, what do you do? But sometimes we do have formal events, and for the formal ones, I make sure to let people know what the agenda is. So are we going to socialize after? Are we going to socialize before? Is there going to be any food? Do you need to bring food? Sometimes we have a game night now, so we all chip in for pizza. I make sure that they know that that if you'd like pizza, if you'd like some drinks, bring some money. How much money do you need to bring? All these little details are very important to make sure that the meeting runs well and that people kind of know what to expect. Sometimes somebody can feel a little bit dejected if there's food involved, but they didn't know that they had to pay for food, or if there's something that's happening and they weren't prepared. So just giving them a good heads up as to this, very type A. This is what time, from this to this time, from that to that time. It may go a little bit off. You're not going to be perfect about this stuff, but it's a good idea to make sure the agenda is clear. We actually don't use much social media except for Meetup. I mean, our entire group was built on the Meetup platform. So we got our members through Meetup. We stay in touch with our members through Meetup. It's Facebook and Twitter is something that we should get more involved in, but Meetup has been just so helpful in what we've been doing. They have so many tools. To run Generation Atheist, we really don't need much money. So the only real expenses are going to be when we have to pay for the Meetup.com fees. To do that, we get money from Atheists United, which sponsors our organization. Meetup.com allows you to have a sponsor to pay the dues or to pay for any other services, and you can post a very formal sponsor and let your members know that this is a person that's sponsoring you. In return, they'll pay your dues. They'll maybe help you out with some other fees that you need if you want to run a specific event that needs donations. Perhaps a sponsor could help you. But for the most part, to run Generation Atheist, it's just a matter of paying the Meetup.com dues, which we get from Atheists United. Our best event has actually been a beach meetup that we did recently. We got a barbecue grill, we got some food, everybody, it was kind of potluck. Some people brought chicken, some people brought steak, veggie burgers. This one guy actually went all out. He got beer battered, beer soaked sausage, he brought pork chops, he brought vegetables, we skewered them. It was a really great event. It lasted from like 3 till 11 o'clock at night. We had people, I think half the people who were at the event were just people that just had no idea who we were. They were friends of friends. They've never been to the meetup, but we actually got more members from that than we have from any other event. It was really, really popular. So part of what I do to keep attendance up is actually what I do to keep people from leaving the members. So we get a steady group of interest. Just because we're secular atheists organization, we're pretty unique on Meetup, so we get a regular stream of interest on Meetup. But what we make sure to do is the people that actually do come have a good time, and we can get those people back. I try not to overmail with email. I try not to I try not to send too many messages out. So to keep attendance up, I make sure that people who actually do come have a good time so that they'll come back again. The scope of the beliefs in our group is essentially atheism and non-believers. We have some agnostics. In fact, we have even some people who are sort of on the fence and are not sure what they're believing. They're sort of drifting away from religion and are moving towards a secular mindset, a rationalized mindset. But I think for the most part we're atheists. We don't mind if anybody, of course, wants to come and from a religious point of view. In fact, that could be refreshing every once in a while to hear. But for the most part, it's atheists and people who are non-believers. And we chose to keep it as atheists and non-believers in the group and try to limit our group to just atheists and non-believers, because it is a place where you want to be separate from everything else. You want to be away from all the judgment that we usually get in the real world and have a conversation with people who are like-minded. The best advice I can give to somebody starting a group is to be very clear, precise, and concise. You want to make sure that that they get your point of what the meetup is about right away. You want to set up a meetup right away so that if I hit that join button, I could immediately RSVP to this one and possibly even another meetup. You want to make sure that you use all of Meetup's features when you create a new event. For a new meetup. For example, Meetup allows you to tag your group, and when you set up a new group, they will blast their entire membership with anybody who is interested in what you have to say. So if you're an atheist organization, think of all the pseudonyms for atheism. Think of anything that might interest the people who are interested in what you're doing, so that makes the initial email go out to the more people, and you get the most interest. And by having an event right away, you'll get people RSVPing immediately. I never had to actually remove a member from our group, but if I ever had to remove somebody, I think it would be if they were being belligerent, if they were being obnoxious, yelling at members, disagreeing, being rude, and maybe just didn't fit in with what the rest of the group was like. And I don't mean doesn't fit in terms of just an outsider. I just mean is just being abusive to the members. Running Generation Atheist gives me an incredible amount of satisfaction. One, I like to interact with people. I'm very social. I do have my shy moments, but for the most part, I'm an extrovert. I like talking to people. I like making sure people are having a good time. Hosting, that's a lot of fun for me. But also, I know the trouble that I had as when I came into Los Angeles for the first time, meeting new people, and it brings me pleasure to see that I can help other people come out and meet some new people when they've been transplanted into LA, which is often what our members find us for. And we've actually had people call ahead to let us know that they're coming into town because they want to meet other people who are like them. They've either come from a small town and they just can't wait to finally get to a big town, or they're coming in from another place where they've just been ostracized. and they let us know we're coming into town. We hope we're going to make it for this one, but we may not. But believe me, we will be there. And that feels awesome because I know that it's making a difference. I know that one, I'm reaching out to people, and two, it's really making a difference in their life. Not only when they see it, but it is that beacon. It's that lighthouse. You know that that place is going to be there, and it's a harbor. It is shelter. You can come here and just be yourself and be cool, and we're going to be inviting.